Then you guys want to keep on trying to fight me about the transatlantic slave trade, because apparently you guys don't know what that is either. But the definition of transatlantic, not just the word trans, but transatlantic, means concerning countries on both sides of the Atlantic. Because your claim is that because Europeans were taking Africans to Europe, that was the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade, which it was not. Because Africa and Europe are on one side of the Atlantic.
BGP, I'm asking you, please stay in your lane. You have a habit of telling others to do so, yet you consistently speak on African American and African history, often being loud and completely wrong in the process. You've now doubled down on this transatlantic slave trade issue, even after revealing your own misunderstanding of what it actually was.
Unlike the African trade, these are two different slave trades.
I agree. The African trade had to do with the Portuguese taking Africans from Africa into Europe. The transatlantic slave trade started after that.
Haven't you noticed that no one else is making the ridiculous claims you are, yet your small circle keeps encouraging you, patting you on the back, and sending you out to embarrass yourself? Honestly, it's giving low-key hatred. They're setting you up for failure. It's mind-boggling that you still believe you must travel diagonally across the Atlantic for it to be considered crossing the ocean. I addressed this in my last video. You can travel in any direction across the Atlantic, and it still counts as crossing. You can even see from this screenshot that it states that the transatlantic slave trade started in West Africa. The Native Americans that were taken later on this timeline were also a part of the transatlantic slave trade. It's not two different slave trades. Now, the basis of your claim seems to be centered on the definition of transatlantic. Let's look at that definition. So we can see that there are many definitions just from a simple Google search, but we're going to use the first one. Crossing the Atlantic. Now let's look up what crossing means. Crossing also has several definitions, but the third definition here meets our contextual needs. So, moving across a body of water would fit this definition. Moving from Africa to Europe is indeed the definition of crossing the Atlantic. Doesn't matter the direction or the distance. Your persistence in pushing this narrative, even though you didn't initially understand the transatlantic slave trade, is baffling. You even started off by calling it two separate slave trades. I even typed in African slave trade into Google, and this is what it brought up. It clearly disproves your argument. You have no clue about the topics you're discussing. I corrected you multiple times, and after that, you subtly shifted your narrative, now claiming it was the same slave trade all along. This is something I've noticed you do often. You spread misinformation, get called out, and then later revise your stance while pretending that's what you believed the entire time. Rob even made a video pointing this out.
Not on either side of the Atlantic. And indigenous people were indeed the first victims to be sent across the Atlantic first to Europe. And then Africans were brought across the Atlantic after. Not to mention the other pseudo crap that I caught you contradicting yourself, or that your team contradicted you on when it came to craniology and how that's pseudo. And the fact that you don't even understand what eugenics is. And that purity race or purebloods is a eugenic concept bred out of pseudoscience and scientific racism, which therefore means mixed race is also pseudo, because race is not biological. Therefore, mixed race people is strictly a social concept, not a biological one. So when you guys continuously use percentages as to claim what people's race is or what their ethnicity is, you would be pushing pseudoscience and scientific racism, because DNA tests only show a percentage of where your ancestors came from. And even then, it doesn't give the full picture, because you only get half of your DNA from each parent, a quarter of your DNA from your 4 grandparents, 12% of your DNA from your great-grandparents, and so forth and so on.
Let me correct you on this too, because we have done our back and forth under several of these videos on the race topic also. Race is determined by phenotype and skin color. I asked you in the comment section under one of these videos, how are you able to identify a black person? You never answered that question directly. When I attempt to reason with you and point out the factual inaccuracies in your arguments, you deflect, while simultaneously pretending to be an intellectual. So, let's dive into some sources. I have an article from science.org. When an unidentified body arrives in the laboratory of Elisha Winburn, a forensic anthropologist at the University of West Florida, it's her job to study the bones to help figure out who the person was when they were alive, to give the biological remains a social identity. We have this vast population of possible missing persons the remains could match, and we need to narrow down that universe, she says. She measures the length of the limb bones to estimate height and examines the bone's development to estimate age at death. She studies the shape of the pelvis for clues to the person's likely sex. And, until recently, Winburn measured features of the skull, such as its overall length and the width of the nasal opening, to do what forensic anthropologists call ancestry estimation. By statistically comparing the measurements with those from skulls with known identities, she could predict the continental ancestry and the commonly used racial categories that may correspond to it, that a person likely identified as one alive. In other words, she could predict whether they identified as black, white, Hispanic, Asian, or Native American. These physical markers, height, age, sex, and skull features, are still used today, which is why police officers ask for descriptions of a perpetrator based on physical attributes. It's not about how you self-identify, it's about how the world perceives you. It's frustrating because I've seen you and your group use this logic when making anti-black statements, so I know you understand it.
As Native Americans, or culturally, phenotypically, here's what you believe. You're not part of our communities. And just because your little group has about 5 or 6 simp natives who will ride with you till the wheels fall off, don't mean that they have a say in who is native and who isn't either. Matter of fact, if you guys paid attention, those natives aren't ever in any other native spaces on this app because of their anti-blackness. You ever notice that they're always just in your spaces? Because you guys allow them to bully or make fun of the black pretendians? Because they ain't nowhere else on this app.
I don't know about the syndicate, but I've definitely noticed that myself. Some of those people don't go into the syndicate's live stream anymore because they're in your live stream's BGP, they're in Joya's live streams, they're in Mono's live streams, they're in Manny's live streams. Those people have simply moved to other live streams and have continued their anti-black behavior. A lot of those people who are in your circles are also posted on this channel.
You guys stay out of the sun as much as possible so you can lighten up. Facts. Y'all wear wigs over your hair like white people, straight hair. Stop. Y'all hate being black.
That she will unmod the person.
Look, man, I messaged her like,
I got a question.
yeah, I messaged her, and she still allowed her to block. She could have just like blocked her or removed her mod power right then and there, bro.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, when we give black people spaces, our indigenous spaces, bro. Black people, African people, Pan-Africans, all people. Well, the problem is this, bro. When we give black people a space in our live streams, bro, like they come out here, present themselves as allies, and then later, bro, they're out there moderating, sympathizing with racist, extremist black people. So you tell me where that makes any sense, bro. That's two-faces, bro. That's some backstabbing, bro.
Talking about, because some of the stuff that you're saying is kind of inconsistent. I'm trying to figure out exactly what
I just told you.
said to you.
I just told you, Mother of Mankind. All right, that's her username with this background. Is allowing racist black people to go on her, moderate for her, and just randomly block people just because she's racist towards other people.
Blackface. America is not new to scandals about blackface.
Blackface minstrelsy had tremendous power, and the whole idea of objectifying a person and taking away their humanity and reducing them to stereotypes and images and making fun of them is a painful experience for those people who are the subject of this kind of treatment.
Mammy, I'm coming. Oh, God, I hope I'm not late.
There was a controversy on The Real Housewives of New York with Luann, as she dressed as Diana Ross, and she made her skin look darker than it really is, and people said that that was racist. And I don't know, I felt like, who doesn't love Diana Ross?
I think it's going to take some time to move past it. These are just isolated instances that we know on a wide public scale. This history and the prevalence of this history is widespread, and I think this is the perfect opportunity to engage in those dialogues that use blackface minstrelsy as an example of how race has functioned in this society and how it continues to curtail us for really treating each other fairly and responsibly and championing equality for all.
And everything that you guys have said on all the lives that have caught, including a live where you specifically say you should start recording when natives are being anti-black and posting it to monetize off of it.
That was cute. Let me tell you something. You thought you were clever trying to insert that tidbit. You and others like you have tried to insinuate that you know who I am, but you don't. Let me make it clear for those still struggling to understand. I see everything.
I went in there and I was like, watch this motherfucker, watch. He's gonna fucking, first thing, Native Mamas. And yeah, I was right after you though. BGP and Native Mamas. She's her biggest cheerleader. And so what? So what if I I literally back you up because I respect what you do. So fucking what? It just bugs him. That what, he can't control me or something? What a fucking little weirdo. Nobody does. Not even my husband. Fuck.
Yeah, because he's obsessed. He's mad that I walked away from him a year ago. That's why.
Damn, a whole year and he's still going. Whoa. That's crazy. That's crazy. So we got a whole fucking year of this to go, Native Vibes.
Yeah.
At least, you know what? At least they split us up. They were doing double time with me and you for a while there.
I've been the last day and all day today and part of last night, and I still got some more to go. Right now, I'm focusing on Fendi, and all his shit's going up on YouTube probably sometime tomorrow. Then it's Azul and La Chapa, and they're going up. And then all of their toxic shit, everything that I have on everybody is going up. People that the only ones that aren't going up are the people who've called truces with me.
I call truce. Hey.
But I also wanted to say, I think I know who's behind the Toxic Trends account.
Toxic. Oh, it's not who we said it was?
Nah.
Oh shit. Who? Well, you could DM me if you don't want to out it.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
I recorded a live on a group of people last year and then bragged about how they should be just go ahead and let the natives say the racist shit, and then we'll just start posting it and monetizing off of it.
Syndicate.
Then somebody was on a live 2 nights ago talking about the live that you guys were in that just got posted to TikTok, to Toxic Trends. And
yeah, I heard they did that. They clipped and cut it and all kinds of stuff, I guess.
Well, that particular person that was on the live 2 nights ago said, yeah, they were talking about this and this and that. And yeah, I saw it on Toxic TikTok Trends on YouTube. So I went to YouTube and I didn't see it. It wasn't there. But guess what got posted today? So they already knew about it. Mm-hmm.
He has a second page.
It's now
There are 2 pages now.
Yeah,
I know the other page. I know the other page. I've seen the other page too.
Well, I happened to come across it live, and Casey was in there, and Misinformation Police or whatever. He was there, and they were again brought me up, but they were talking about Bucky, the native I had in my life, and we were just vibing, like literally having a good time, and was there gonna help him find a wife, and it was fun. We just treated him like anybody else, because he's cool like that. And they went out and was saying that we were making fun of him, which is bullshit. Like literally, we were chilling like a villain over there and just laughing around. He showed us his family. He's very proud of his people. So I thought that was cool as hell. I mean, he came in respectful, and I don't know. I just thought he was cool. But then when I came across that and they were talking shit, I was like, you guys are full of shit. I'm so mad. We were cool. I said he was cool as fuck. So I don't know why you guys are saying all that shit. Like, literally, it was really dumb. It's like, this is why we can't come together. Like, people like them sitting there spreading misinformation. Dude had a good time in there. He's still, we follow each other. We actually talk to each other today. So I don't understand why they want to continue that division.
Just because I don't immediately make a video about everything you or your group does, doesn't mean I'm not aware. Some of you think you're safe in your Discord chats and Snapchat groups, but I know what goes on there, too. I've been around longer than some of you realize, and I've witnessed the behavior of many who like to portray themselves as born-again Christians. Let me remind you, the commentary I provide on this channel is intended as constructive criticism, a chance for you to do better. But many of you choose to deflect and project, avoiding accountability for your problematic actions.